Try to.
Oh, someone's right with me. Someone's got hit someone in the That's a good work there.
Hello YouTube and welcome to another multiplayer commentary of IL-2 Cliffs of Dover. Now it's been about a year since I was really active in this game, and recently I heard about the new Team Fusion mod patch that came out, 4.0, and I decided for old time's sake I would install it and try it out and see what was new. And there's been a lot of improvements, a lot of new content added, and upon seeing all the new stuff, I decided I would definitely give multiplayer a try. But there's a little bit of a problem in that year of intervening time. Really, whatever edge I might have had, it's gone now. I'm about as helpless as a newborn baby in the air. My situational awareness that I might have had before is pretty much gone. And I've lost that instinct that warned me when I was doing something wrong, or would give me an idea of what I should be doing. So upon realizing that, I decided that if I'm gonna have to relearn all of those basic instincts for aerial combat in this game, then I might as well go for broke. So I decided I would learn something completely new, an aircraft I'd never flown before, and so I decided on the Hawker Hurricane, which is one of the Royal Air Force fighters. It's the stalwart companion to the Spitfire and the workhorse of the British Air Forces during the Battle of Britain. And I was actually really impressed with the fighter. It's not super high performance like the 109E or even the Spitfire, but it's a well-rounded aircraft. It's very fun to fly and has relatively forgiving flight characteristics. It's a very stable gun platform. It's got pretty forgiving stall characteristics. It's not quite as jumpy as the Spitfire is, for example, and the handling is a little bit less sharp than the 109. But overall, it's a very maneuverable fighter. It can definitely maneuver or match the Spitfire's maneuverability. Firepower-wise, it's pretty decent as well. It has 8 30 caliber machine guns, 4 in each wing. Now, to give you an idea of the kind of firepower, the rate of fire of those 8 guns put together is equal to that of 2 modern miniguns, and they're the same caliber too. So you can imagine your armament is 2 miniguns in this plane. So even though you may not have the hitting power that kind of rips planes apart or blows wings off like you would with the 109E4's cannons, it definitely does pack a punch. It has enough firepower to shred smaller planes, so single engine fighters like the 109, and with a combination of incendiaries and other armor piercing bullets that you can put in when you customize your ammunition loadouts, you can actually deal hefty damage to medium bombers and twin engine heavy fighters like the Heinkel or the BF-110. So it's definitely no slouch. It's not like it lacks the firepower that it requires. So this sortie that you guys are seeing is the first, after basically I taught myself how to fly the Hurricane over a few days, and once I was able to take off, land, do basic aerobatics and everything, I decided that I would go straight online and try it out. So this sortie is the sortie where I got in my very first engagement where I got an aerial victory. And so this is my first air victory in the Hurricane, and also on the red team, flying for the Royal Air Force. So what's going on here is there are a bunch of planes in the area, but most of them were Spitfires, and I was having trouble identifying where the 109s were. Now this target, you can see it, I was following it with my crosshairs. It zoomed up and it rolled over, and now it's diving down to attack somebody. That guy was moving really suspiciously because the Spitfires weren't really attacking anyone. They were being attacked based on what I was hearing online. So I followed that dot, and sure enough, that is a 109. You can tell by the yellow markings on the wingtips and the nose. And so I came in hurtling down with a ton of energy, and so I had plenty of speed to catch him. Even though he may have a higher top speed, he doesn't here. He's not going to be moving faster because of all the energy I had coming out of that dive. And here I just let him have it. I burned through a ton of ammo, probably a lot more ammunition than I really needed to put into it, but my heart was pounding, and I was really the excitement was at a fever pitch for me because I hadn't been in a dogfight in so long. So I definitely probably held down the trigger for way longer than I really needed to, burn through a lot of ammunition. Which is another thing that I'm not really used to with flying the British fighters as opposed to the 109. It's the ammunition that they have. The Hurricane carries enough ammunition for 17 seconds of gunfire, so you can hold down your trigger for 17 seconds. Now, that's actually quite a lot of ammunition. It's more, for example, than you would have in the 109E's 20mm cannons. But it's nowhere near what you would have in the machine guns for the 109. So I had to adjust to the fact that I have to be very careful with how much ammunition I spend, and I can't really waste it on shots that aren't really going to get me serious damage on the foe. Now, as you can see here, I'm getting bounced by another 109, and this guy here, I was struggling really hard to keep my eyes on him because, like I said, I lost that edge. I don't really... Before, I would always generally have an idea of where the enemy was in the fight, so I wouldn't lose sight of them repeatedly during the fight like I am right now. But this time, I would lose sight of him, and then I'd have to glance around in a panic trying to relocate him every time he would zoom up. And fortunately for me, I was able to spot him every time that he was coming down for the gun pass, otherwise I would have been in trouble. Now here he just stalled. You probably just saw that, and that gave me the opportunity to get behind him, and it also bled a ton of his E. So now I've actually got enough speed to catch him. And I pull a pretty decent deflection shot there, and I get some lucky hits, and you're seeing a lot of these bright flashes. That's the Wilde incendiary ammunition. It's a special type of ammunition that causes those really bright flashes. And it looked like I'd gotten a ton of hits, and I was assuming that he was pretty crippled after what happened to that last 109 I just shot down. So I figured it was okay to waste a little bit more ammo because he was not, I was assuming he was crippled, but as I was coming in here, and he's just sitting perfectly still in my gun sight. If I had waited and saved some of that ammunition for now, I could have taken him out, but this is it, that's it. I'm out of ammo. I've got nothing to shoot him with. And I was so frustrated because I knew that if I had just, 2 seconds more ammunition, I could bring him down. So, giving up in frustration, I broke off and turned away. I was not expecting him to follow me because I still thought he had taken some serious damage, so I didn't think he would try to press the issue. But as I turned around and I looked behind me, again, he definitely, that's him right there. He's coming back around for me. So he still wanted to fight, and I certainly could not, I can't retaliate in any way. So all I could do was maneuver for my life here. And as you can see, the Hurricane still maneuvers in turns much better than the 109. And here he stalls again, and I was so excited here because I thought he was going to stall into the ground because he had stalled at such a low altitude. But if you look, he just barely recovers right over the treetops. If he had recovered maybe like 2 meters lower, he would have hit those trees and died. But oh man, this is heartbreaking to watch again, because did you see that he was right in my gun sights at like 100 meters or so? He would have been toast if I still had ammo. But as I was pulling up here, I noticed he had a wingman. There's actually 2 109s, so I knew that I was in trouble now. Actually you see there's a Spitfire engaging with this 109, and his wingman is here trying to shoot me off of him. So I decided now is a good time to escape, because I can't really help in this dogfight at all. I can't shoot anything. All I am is a moving target that can't retaliate. So I took that opportunity to run away and try to land. And basically the entire way I just kept doing this weaving turn and looking behind me to try and keep my eyes on anybody potentially trying to sneak in to finish me off. So I was very distracted at this point because I was really worrying about one of them deciding to follow me back to base. So I forgot one of the most basic things about landing, and you'll see that in a few minutes when I actually find the airbase. But I mean, I'd pulled it off perfectly in my training multiple times, you know, the proper landing approach and doing everything, but it all just fell away out of my mind during this landing attempt. It was horrible. So anyway, as I'm pulling away, there's an airfield right by here that you can probably see over there by with the smoking wrecks over there, and it's that darker green field that I'm looking at right now. And so I decided I would just go land straight there instead of trying to get more separation. But overall, for a sortie, it actually wasn't that bad. I got one 109 that I definitely confirmed kill. The second 109 I damaged, but I saw no real visible damage. There was no venting, there was no smoke, there was no leaking fuel. It was just hits on it, and I never saw him go down, and the last time I saw him, he was maneuvering fine. So him, in real life, I would have just counted him as a probable. So one confirmed kill and one probable. Not bad. Now here I am coming in on the landing approach, and those of you who've flown the Hurricane are probably looking at those 2 glaring red lights on the upper left of the panel, and you're saying, Canvas Knight, your landing gear isn't down. What are you doing? And I didn't realize it until the last second here, and I tried to put my carriage down, but it was way too late. Just way too late to do anything about it, because I was so close to landing at stall speed that if I had tried to pull up and accelerate to go for another pass, I probably would have crashed. So I rolled to this embarrassing skid on my collapsed left landing gear and just sit here and kind of stew the fact that I made such a careless mistake. But it was definitely a kind of heat of the moment thing, so hopefully I'm never going to do that ever again, and I've learned my lesson there.